Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest and exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
Hey there, this is Motorhead Garage presented by DragonfireTools.com, and this is Danny Agosta from Steele Rubber. And the last time you were here, Danny, we talked about this great-looking 33 Ford. This thing was restored about 18 years ago. It was a great restoration at the time. It still looks good, but the rubber seals in a lot of places had gone bad. First of all, why did seals from that era go bad so quickly?
Seals will go bad over time, especially old seals that are made of a latex, blown latex. That's going to biodegrade. But just in general, seals will get exposure to UV, they get dirty, they get damaged, they get ripped up. And the actual longevity of the seal actually really comes in when it's made, using the high quality materials from the get-go.
And speaking of high quality materials, Steele Rubber, you upgrade from what was originally on these vehicles. So what do you guys use in your rubber seals?
The compound we have is a proprietary compound. It's 100% EPDM, which is very UV resistant, ozone resistant. Of course, it just makes for a good seal and it lasts an extremely long time.
We took a look at this 33 Ford last time you were here, and we went from front to back and talked about some of the problem areas where we might either want to replace the seals or add seals. We talked about the trunk, and we showed how to measure for a new seal for that. And then we looked here at the A-pillar. This is one that really stood out, and you know, you're getting it out of the vehicle that was right in your face, and it was one that definitely had seen better days, so we decided to replace that. So what's the process like to take a seal that's that old and remove it?
So this particular seal was held on with either a glue or peel and stick adhesive. I couldn't tell, it was just falling apart. The rubber was torn, so we peeled it off. We found the profile that we're going to change it into that's going to hold against the glass well, fit in the track. It has a 3M adhesive on the back, so the install process of it is super easy. You take off the old one, you clean up the surface, you peel off the back and stick it on.
How much will that expand and contract through the years with the EPDM rubber?
It's not going to shrink or anything like that with time.
Not like the old days with the lake?
No.
For the front now, we looked at another spot where we realized we'd probably want to seal. We took a look at the cowl here, and we saw some scratches on it and everything where there'd never been any seals, and that hood was banging up and down. And we touched on the process of measuring for a new seal. We showed how you use silly putty there in the gap. And we did that here, and then we found a seal from a sample kit from Steele Rubber.
Yeah, so we actually have a sample kit that's for hood decals. So that included this piece. Once we did the silly putty test, we kind of knew our dimension. This piece just fit perfect, looked good. The profile on it is identical to the cloth radiator and cowl seal that would come on a 33 Ford. So it just has the right look, and it's going to keep the hood and the radiator from rubbing anymore.
Yeah, if you didn't have something in the sample kit that exactly worked for me, what are some of my other options from Steele Rubber?
We have so many parts. I mean, there is a certain point where a seal is a seal, and basically if we can get the right dimension, we will have something that will fill that gap. This piece was just made for that. It worked, so it was just easy peasy.
And the Street Rod Kit is a brand new thing for Steele Rubber, but for ages now, if you have a specific vehicle, how do you go about finding out what seals you might need for your car?
Give us a call. You know, there's the on-demand catalogs, you can get those, but if you're trying to put together a hand-built car and you want the kind of hood decal that would come on a 60s type vehicle, give us a call. We can tell you exactly what that is and send you a few pieces of those.
And for something a little more standard, you just tell Steele Rubber on the website what car you have?
Yeah, you can go on our website, you can call us. Basically, we've got direct fit replacement parts. So if you've got a Nova, Camaro, you know, Galaxy, all that stuff, we've got plug and play kind of parts.
Very good, and they'll send you a complete catalog just for your vehicle, stem to stern, everything you would need as far as rubber seals go. Now, what if you encounter something you've never seen before?
Well, you know, if someone sends us a part that is for a car that we don't make parts for, you know, we'll take a look at that and see if it's something we want to add to our product line. You know, all of our parts are made from customer originals. So, you know, we just added some Dart parts and some Lincoln Continental parts. All those came from a customer who said, this doesn't exist. We took it in, we said there's a market for it, so we made it.
And we're not talking just cars and trucks when it comes to Steele Rubber. And by the way, 100 years worth of vehicles dating back to the last century. But RVs, and what else do you make seals for?
Yeah, RVs, the big seals that go on slide outs, insert trims that go over screw track covers, everything you need for a mobile home or a camper and RV. And we also make parts for boats. Port windows, rub rails, it's all the same quality of material now able to be on all the toys that people have.
Well, if you need a rubber seal for any vehicle, a boat, a car, a truck, a street rod like this, you can find what you need at steelrubber.com. And you can find more Motorhead Garage presented by Dragonfiretools.com just around the corner.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com, is brought to you by RockAuto.com. All the parts your car will ever need. And by AG Products. Be the king of clean.
You are cruising along with Motorhead Garage presented by DragonfireTools.com. What a year 1967 was for the automobile. You had the Oldsmobile 442, you had the Pontiac GTO, Ford Mustang was selling like gangbusters, and that's when Chevrolet introduced the Camaro in 1967. And let's talk about the music in 1967. You had the Turtles, the Monkees, Jefferson Airplane, the Doors, and of course the Beatles released Sgt. Pepper's. So you had some of the greatest music of all time. But the problem was, in 1967, listening to that music, if you weren't doing it at home, was a complete disaster. You're listening to the music in stunning AM radio sound. You probably had one speaker on the dash, maybe one or two back on the deck lid, and that was it. And if you upgraded, you had one in the doors if you were lucky. Most of it was coming at you on an AM station with all the treble you could handle, but now you can have the best of both worlds. You can drive your classic or muscle car and get great sound thanks to Custom Autosound. They have head units and speakers that sound amazing, and they look just like the original radios that came with your car when it was new. And it's not just about the music. With a Custom Autosound radio, you can have Bluetooth, you can play your MP3 player, satellite radio, and even hook it up to a CD player. And Custom Autosound isn't messing around, I tell you. These are high-quality units that are durable, and they are made to last. First of all, Custom Autosound's radios are made in some of the same factories that make some of the world's finest audio equipment, and every Custom Autosound model undergoes extreme temperature testing, a temperature aging test, and the super important vibration test, because the more power you're making, the more you're shaking. And you need a radio that's going to survive all of that. Every single item Custom Autosound makes is hand inspected and adjusted by a technician before it gets shipped to the customer or the dealer. And Custom Autosound has a huge variety of radios and speakers made to fit your budget and made to fit your vehicle. 4 different models of in-dash radios, including the slide bar radio. And with the slide bar radio, you get a radio that looks just like an old analog radio when it's turned off. And when you slide the bar, you get a digital display that enables you to control every function of your radio. If you have a street rod or classic and you want to leave the original radio in the dash, the secret audio radio is for you. The unit hides usually under a seat or behind the dashboard, and you still get your Bluetooth, AM, FM radio, iPod control, CD control, and it integrates perfectly with your speaker system. And speakers, well boy, does Custom Autosound have those. From subwoofers to kick panels and door-mounted speakers to universal speakers, even speakers that secretly hide away, Custom Autosound has you covered. Everything from Custom Autosound is made to sound great, it's made to last, and of course it's made to look just like it came with your classic vehicle back when it was new. And installation, well, Custom Autosound makes that incredibly easy too. Our build team decided to do the sub panel first, and of course some cars you can go through the trunk. It was a lot easier in the 67 Camaro to remove the back seat, so that's the way they went about it. There was an amp and 2 subs on there, and all the harnesses were bundled, so everything you need is pre-wired, super easy. Coming off those harnesses, RCA cables, power, and switch power. That means when you turn the key on, the unit turns on, and a control wire for the subwoofer. They ran a couple of those wires under the carpet on one side, up the rails, and on the other side, ran a couple more. Again, you untuck the carpet, tuck it back in over the wires, simple as that. Second step, the kick panel speakers. Now those were pre-wired as well. All you had to do is run a wire from there up to the head unit. You could choose your connection type and decide how you wanted to connect that to the Custom Autosound radio. And this is really cool. I mentioned in the original cars back then, you only had one little speaker maybe in the dash, and that's all you had to work with. Custom Autosound has a much improved version of that speaker. It already had a pre-cut speaker wire, and eventually that went into the speaker harness just like everything else. Custom Autosound makes it so easy. They pre-label the harness, so you plug the appropriate speaker right where it goes, and this thing's gonna work right out of the box. And now to the star of the show, the head unit. Of course, Crusher, as we know him. Randy Lewis owns this vehicle. He wants it to look like the original, so this was the perfect stereo for him. Looks just like an original stereo from 1967. And putting that in, of course, it looks great. Hooking it up is super simple. There's a speaker harness and a 12-volt harness on the back. They plug in on top of each other. All you have to do is pull both of those off, pre-wire everything into those harnesses, plug them back in, and you are ready to rock and roll. It looks fantastic, it sounds fantastic, and it is one of the many models from Custom Autosound that's going to suit any kind of vehicle. Find one that's right for you at CustomAutosoundMFG.com. We will return with more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonfireTools.com in just a moment.
Motorhead Garage, brought to you by Dragonfire Tools, quality affordable workbenches and tool cabinets.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage presented by DragonfireTools.com.
I know you see wheels here, and you're thinking, I've seen a bunch of wheels, they're all the same. These are not like other wheels. Tell me how wheels, Patrick, from Litespeed Racing are different. What are some of the awards you've won?
So Litespeed Racing wheels have been used on the Pikes Peak record-holding vehicle. They've also been used on a number of other class-winning vehicles and record-holding vehicles. Plus, they have the SEMA award for the best new wheel.
And you're not messing around. It's not just about style, it's about performance. In fact, when we were at SEMA last year, that's where we ran into Patrick, you weren't in with the other wheels. It's all divided off in sections. You were in the performance section. Tell me how I'm getting more performance out of my wheels with Litespeed.
Yeah, Litespeed Racing shows as a performance product because it's a true performance product. Our wheels are super lightweight, and that lightweight is a weight reduction that translates into all-around performance. That means acceleration, braking, even fuel economy. We have tested these wheels on a dyno and gained 10 horsepower and 10 pound-feet of torque just by switching to our lightweight wheel.
Even 1 horsepower is hard to come by, so you can do a supercharger, a turbocharger. That's expensive. You can chip your car. It's going to avoid the warranty. Wheels, they're the easiest thing you can do.
Yeah, you can put a set of Litespeed Racing wheels on your car, make your car look great, get all the added benefits, and you don't have to worry about voiding your warranty. You can bring it into the dealership. You're not going to get any trouble from the dealership. And when you decide to sell the car, you can take these off and sell them. They don't lose their value.
Of course, the style is important. We'll talk about that in a minute, but you're all about performance, and you get that through the materials you used.
So we have 3 options, starting with our forged aluminum. Then our most popular and lightest is our forged magnesium, and our top of the line is our full carbon fiber barrel with the forged center.
And they're all great looking. I want to show you. It's talking about performance, talk about lightweight, talk about Litespeed. When's the last time you were able to do that with a wheel? These are incredible. We couldn't tell which boxes were empty and which ones actually had wheels in when we were unpacking these. I know you said magnesium on that wheel. Magnesium has always raised a red flag for folks. They have a lot of problems with them. How are these wheels different from those of yesteryear?
A lot of people think of magnesium and they think of the old school magnesium cast magnesium wheels. This is a modern forged magnesium alloy wheel. It's alloyed with different metals which make it more stable, stronger, corrosion resistant, not going to catch on fire.
Important.
This is actually similar to what F1 race cars use. So if a F1 has decided that forged magnesium is the best option for a wheel, they're probably right.
I'd probably go with those guys. They do a little research.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the style, and that is where this all started. Tell me about your design background.
So my background is in industrial design, and I wanted to design wheels that would look good, that would pop on the car, but not overtake the car. And a main thing that I consider in all the designs is weight. So I know what geometries and what kind of designs are going to look good, but also are going to be lightweight and strong.
You have a bunch of different models to choose from, but from there, the wheels are actually customized. How does that work?
So when you go to the website, you check out all the designs, and then after that, you can choose, do you want the forged aluminum, the forged magnesium, or the carbon fiber? Then the size, the color, the vehicle fitment, even the brake clearance can be customized to perfectly match your vehicle.
They'll tell you what kind of brakes they have, and you can suit it to their needs.
Yep, if they have the standard factory brakes, or if they've upgraded to a larger brake kit, that larger brake kit sometimes won't fit on all wheels, and that's where a custom wheel like this comes into play, because we can make sure that that's going to fit over your larger brakes.
You've talked about how much stronger these are. You can talk about that all day long, but I'm thinking a wheel that light can't be that strong as you claim. How do you back that up?
Each wheel comes with a 3-year warranty, and we start off the design process with a computer simulation of load rating to make sure the design makes sense on the computer. After that, we actually do third-party testing to make sure that these do meet the load rating that they were designed to. And then we have real-world testing on the street and on the track.
When these roll out of the factory in California, how do you know the quality's there?
Each wheel is checked over very carefully, make sure that there's no blemishes. And because we have manufacturing here in the USA, maybe you scratch it and you need to send it back to us, we can easily fix it for you and send it back to you.
We talked about the styles and the different types of wheels. What are the size ranges you have in stock?
We offer from 16-inch up to 24-inch. We offer 1-piece wheels, 3-piece wheels, and even bead locks.
Now, if I have an application and I'm not sure what I need or what I want, can I talk to you about that?
Yep, we've been making wheels since 2014. We have a lot of information on different vehicles. So if you have a specific question, you can email or call us and we can work through all that for you.
I can tell you these wheels are like none I have ever seen. They're from Litespeed Racing. You can find the right wheels for your vehicle at litespeedracing.com. We shall return with more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonfireTools.com.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com, is brought to you by Custom Autosound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radios since 1977.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage.
Presented by DragonfireTools.com.
If you're doing anything recreational in a vehicle that has tires, you know that traction is king. Tyler, what's the easiest way to achieve the proper traction I need?
Oh, definitely with what we got here. We have our Morrflate multi-tire inflation-deflation kits. We can hook up all 4 of your tires, or just 2 tires if you want. You're going out to a drag strip for the day. Air up, air down, equalize all your tires in one. That is the name of the game in vehicular recreation.
A lot of people are looking at their screens right now going, why do I want to air down?
Absolutely. So for airing down, lots of different reasons. Off-roading is the biggest one. You know, if you air down, you get more traction to the ground. So it's the easiest, cheapest way. It's free to let air out of your tires to gain traction and make off-roading easier. It also makes the rider way more comfortable when your tires are part of your suspension.
So more comfortable, and you're getting a bigger footprint there for the tires.
Absolutely. Mud wheeling, sand wheeling. If you're going out to dunes all the time, oh, you have to air down in the sand. Snow wheeling, rocks, anything you're looking for off-road, you gotta air down. Airing down at a drag strip as well. You know, you're going for that quarter mile, trying to get that 4 to 5 PSI, the sweet spot in your rear tires. Air them down, keeps both your tires at the same pressure, and you're good for your quarter mile.
Well, let's talk about that. The old way of airing down, the way most people do things, is a pain.
Absolutely. I'm 6'4", right? So if I squatted a single tire for more than 2 minutes, my knees just popped coming down here. I can't get back up, I get stuck. And so I was like, there's gotta be a better way to do this.
Well, and let's talk about the time involved too. You wanna go in off-road, you wanna hit the trail.
It can take upwards of a half hour, especially just sitting there. I've seen people agonizing for me to watch, have their keys and just stick their key into their valve stem, and then they just sit there for 15 minutes while they're airing down their tires with their keys. With these air chucks, we got 4 of them. So you hook up all 4 of your tires, then they're all connected into one, and then you just dump the air out of your manifold at the front of the vehicle, rear of the vehicle, wherever you set it up. And it's very simple and easy to do. So these air chucks here are push on, pull off. Super user friendly. So all you do is take your valve stem caps off, put your air chuck on, push it on, you're good to go.
I know a lot of air chucks are automatically engaged.
Yeah.
In the detent position.
Yep.
Not so. Why did you design it this way so it's disengaged when you put it on?
Because we don't want planned obsolescence, right? So with your air chucks default engaged, you know, as you go on and off your valve stems a lot, if you're going a lot of wheeling or going to the drag strip a lot, you're going to wear out the threads on your valve stems. And so you're either going to have to replace your valve stems or you have to replace your air chucks over time. With these, because the locking collar disengages when you pull it off and come to the unlock position, these 3 teeth here don't rub and wear out your valve stems over time.
All right, that's how we equalize the pressure. How do we then reduce the pressure in all 4 tires?
Great question. So we're going to come right on over here to our manifold. So all 4 tires, once they're hooked up to the vehicle and to the system, now all of it just dumps right out of here. So we can see right now, the gauge will tell you what all 4 tires are at. So we're sitting at about 31 PSI right now. We've been playing around with the tires. It was about 38, 40. And literally within about 2 minutes of airing down, we've gotten down to 31 PSI in all 4 tires. So you just dump the air out.
You don't have to go around kneeling from tire to tire.
Exactly. That's the beauty of the system. Normally, you're sitting there squatting at each tire for a really long amount of time. With this, you dump the air, go hang out with your buddies for a while.
And how does Morrflate make airing up easier too?
So pretty much it's the exact thing and the opposite though, right? So you're going around to each tire, 1 tire at a time, holding an air chuck on your tire as the air goes from your air source into your tire. With this, you hook it onto here with just a coupler, anything, it holds on itself, have the valve open, let the air go all back into your tires. It'll evenly distribute the air between all 4 of your tires. So again, you just start the process and then sit back and hang out with your buddies.
We mentioned all 4 tires. Of course, you can do it with 2 tires.
Yep.
Left side, right side, depending on your application.
Yep. You know, overlanding is getting huge right now, so people load up the rear end of their trucks. So maybe you want to run more PSI in your rear tires than your front tires. You can absolutely do that. All of our air chucks default closed. So if you want to do that, say you want 40 in the front, 60 in the rear, air everything up to 40, pull the fronts off, and continue going up to 60 in the rear. In the entire system, the valve stem to your tire is the restriction point. That's where you're going to get a bottleneck of airflow. The valve stem can only accept about 2 CFM of airflow at a time. A lot of our compressors on the market nowadays run 5 to 6 CFM, so you're not really using the full output of your compressors ever. The current king of compressors in the market, the current standard, puts out 6.2 CFM. And our new compressor, our new Morrflate 10.6, does just that, 10.6 CFM. So we're almost doubling the current standard on the market with our new compressor. And that just means we get to fully maximize the efficiency of air output, getting your tires aired up when you're done for the day. We can air up 4 38-inch tires on this Gladiator here from about 5 PSI back to 40 PSI in about 7 minutes.
It's a super time saver. It's also going to save you a lot of effort. The Morrflate is an essential if you're airing up or airing down for any application. Find them at morrflate.com.
That is going to do it for this episode of Motorhead Garage, and we hope you enjoyed the ride. We'll do it again next week. If you promise to come along, we'll do it at the same time, same sandbox.
From our entire crew here at Motorhead Garage, presented by Dragonfire Tools.com, we'll see you next week. So long.